All right, we're recording. This is Jake. You ever wake up in the morning and you feel good, everything's going great, and you start your day, you get dressed, take a shower, get dressed, get on the road, you get to your job, you just feel good. And then you have a thought, something you forgot about, and it drags you down. Your mind kind of goes, oh yeah, there's that thing I need to worry about. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But, to be honest, I go back and forth. A lot of days I wake up and I'm feeling pretty good, and then I remember usually financial crap, and it drags me down. Right now I'm doing all right. I'm ahead of the bills, but I keep remembering about all the things I have coming up in the near future. I have to show up in court for a speeding ticket that I got, and that's like in a couple of days. I'm racing to make the rent, which this month I believe I should be okay on. Like 95% confident on that. So that's good. That's a big one. But I've got my car insurance, which is renewing, and that doesn't feel good. Car insurance is one thing I've been kind of bummed about lately. Oh, these bastards, man, they keep raising my rates. I won't say the company name. I just switched off of another company that had me at $200 to start, went up to $300, $350. Then I switched to this company. They started me at $200, and then they bumped me to $250, $280. Now I got to pay the $280 to end the last one, and the new one starts at something similar. It's just, I don't know, things pile up. I suppose I just want to work 40 hours a week and have enough money for everything. I'm not asking for a Lamborghini or even vacations around the world, a lot of expensive stuff. I want the basics. I just want to work 40 hours and have enough for the basics. Just the basics. But yeah, I hate that feeling when you are feeling good and it's almost like you forgot about your financial woes or whatever is woeing you, and then you remember it and it's like, ah. And it's weird. My mind, it does that split where it's telling me things are pretty bad. You're in a tough financial spot. You can't be happy right now. And then you meditate every day. And it helps a lot, but it doesn't make it go away. It's still there. It's kind of like a malaise. There's like a gray color filter over life. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was able to take the afternoon yesterday, but there's still that feeling of guilt. Like I could be out there making more money to get out of debt faster. How dare you take time off? And then the time off doesn't heal you like it should. A few episodes ago, I talked about that feeling when you were a kid and you got out of school and you were just watching the clock, count down to 3 or 3:15, whenever your timeout was. And as soon as the bell hit, you just felt so free. Like you did what you had to do for the day, and then you could go home and play and have fun. And I don't mean to sound down to you guys right now. I'm just kind of sharing with you, I don't know, that end of the month crunch. It's end of the month crunch for rent, and then I've got to show up in court to pay this darn speeding ticket. This cop would not cut me some slack. I work 7 days a week, so I forget if it's a weekday or weekend. I'm not making excuses for my speeding. I was speeding. It was a school zone, 35 miles an hour. And I think I was doing 50 or just over 50. By the moment I realized it was a school zone, I started to slow down, because most everybody does 45 through the school zones at least. So I was literally going with the flow of traffic, but then I remembered and I started to slow down, and then I saw a cop, and my first thought was, oh, thank God I noticed, he'll probably go after these other guys who are passing me, but nope. Pulled me over. Oh, I'm gonna go to court and ask him to see if I can make payments. It's like, dude, I got to get out of this job. I've been saying that forever now, but I'm still in it. But I am, turning the gears of job hunting. My schedule is about to open up a lot more, at least consistently. After I pay rent, I'm gonna take time every day to apply. Very, very much more consistently. Before I was kind of like squeezing it in, flying by the seat of my pants, but I'm doing the things. But I don't know. You guys listening out there, do you struggle financially? Does it encroach on your thoughts a lot? Am I the only one? Of course not. Meditation is useful with it, though. I think the big key for me when I've been practicing meditation now for 3+ years, 3.5, but it never makes it easier. I mean, I don't know. It's tough to talk about meditation because meditation is kind of like that silence behind everything. It helps you rest in your being, not in your doing. So I feel all these fears about my finances. Thoughts appear in my head like my car could break down at any moment and my income could disappear. Or I could get killed on the road or injured, or they could nerf my pay yet again. So, all these thoughts appear. Like I'll be in a good mood and then I'll drive by one of those new DoorDash robots now. I don't know if you guys have seen those in your town. It makes me angry. Like the company, not only have they cut my pay drastically over the last year and a half, 35%, but now they are replacing me with robots. It's like, I get frustrated. I just want to go up to those robots and push them over, or pick them up in the air and just throw them in. I get all these crazy thoughts sometimes. I mean, I'm human like you. You ever get a random thought in your head and you're like, where the hell did that come from? Where the hell did this thought come from? Holy smokes. That is one thing meditation will do, though, is make you much more observational. You start to observe yourself. Why the hell am I doing this? At the end of the day, I'll be eating, something unhealthy, like a little bit of ice cream or something, or some pizza. My go-to staple lazy mode diet foods, and I'm just like, what the hell? Why am I eating this? And then another voice pops in my head. Why are you judging yourself? You're eating the ice cream. You might as well fucking enjoy it. Don't get on your own case about eating ice cream while you're eating ice cream. I suppose when I'm in the grocery store, that would be a good time. Don't buy it. Don't bring it home because it'll get eaten. But I have big plans. I've had plans for a while, but I know that things have been moving stirring in me to get more organized. I don't want to just survive anymore. I know I'm capable of so much. I know I am. And it's just a matter of finding some traction for it. Finding a way to be appreciated for what I have to offer. And it's tough to find that in today's working world. A lot of you listening probably don't feel very appreciated or well compensated for your labor, your time, and I feel the same way. But I look around and I have confidence. Not to put down others, but I see some people who make great money. And I think to myself, there's nothing this person has over me. It's just I'm in my own way. I'm not putting them down. I'm just lifting myself up. Like, this person has nothing on me. When I was younger, I used to look up to adults and think, wow, I want to strive to be like that. But it's like once you get to your 30s, especially now for me, I'm 42. I look around and I'm like, man, there's nothing anybody has on anybody, really. We're all just kind of dumb animals trying to figure this life thing out. And along the way, some of the mean, dumb animals started being oppressive to the nicer animals. And now we got ourselves a exploitative. Can I talk today? No, I can't. Exploitative relationship is what I was going for. We need to be nicer to each other. I mean, golly, look at the world right now. That's another thing. Holy smokes, our phones, they just pump you full of terrible information, right? I'm trying to stay positive and look at the finer side, the brighter side of life, trying to meditate, stay centered. You open your phone and it's like just, oh gosh. I'm sure many of you are well aware of what's going on in Minnesota right now. I won't rehash the details, but I mean, it's horrifying. And it fires you up. It can make you angry. It can make you off-centered if you let it, but it's hard not to let it, right? We see all this injustice going on and we want to do something, damn it. But people are doing something, and that makes me happy. When I open my phone and I see an ocean of bodies in the streets with signs, all I can do is smile from ear to fucking ear. Sorry. I'm not going to say sorry. Darn it. It's crazy times right now. Crazy. That does not make it easier. It'd be nice if I could work 40 hours a week and then go join them in the streets for a few extra hours to help out. But that's life. Sometimes life is butterflies and rainbows. Sometimes life is just lounging about on your L-shaped sectional sofa, browsing mindlessly on Netflix, what to watch, totally relaxed. And sometimes it is knee-deep in shit, if I can be so frank. How did we get here? How do we get out? Well, I like to think of what we can and can't do and just focus on what we can do. Differentiate between the two. Relax. I've quoted the Dalai Lama before where he says, is there something you can do about it? Oh, wonderful. Then there's no need to worry. And if there's nothing you can do about it, wonderful. No need to worry. There's never a time to worry. And sometimes I get frustrated with myself when I get caught in my worrying thought loops. There's nothing I can do about it. I got to show up at court. I think it's on February 4th or 5th. I got it written down somewhere. Yes, Your Honor, I was speeding. I take full responsibility. I am broke AF. If you could split this payment up for me, I would greatly appreciate you. But if not, I will bum some money from people, Your Honor, to pay the state almost $300 fine for doing a few miles over with the flow of traffic. I won't say that last part, of course. That's just what it is. Got some fun interviews lined up. And I bring this up because, even doing the podcast, trying to stay ahead, it was getting to a point where I was like, okay, I need to just wipe the slate clean for a moment, get rent, get my schedule for the RL real life stuff figured out, organize that a little bit, come back to the drawing board, if you will. And now here I am. Here I am. I try not to dwell on it too much because there's mornings where I wake up and it's all doom and gloom and my heart is pounding and I'm like, how am I going to stay ahead? And then as the day goes on, things get easier. But I tell you, sometimes waking up early in the morning when it's still dark out and everyone's still sleeping and I'm meditating, my mind is just a shitstorm swirling around saying, you're fucked. You better figure out who you're going to borrow from this month. Oh, that's the worst. Borrowing money from people. Isn't that the worst? It's like we love to help people, but we hate receiving help as humans. It is hard to learn how to accept help. At least for me, I don't know about you. It's tough. I've had friends loan me money to help me out in my situation. I've had family many times over. And then your mind crafts a wonderful story about yourself. You really are a fuck up, aren't you? Everyone's got a job that pays the bills, but you. When your mind just keeps telling you things are not going to get better over and over again, relentlessly. Like, what is the purpose of your thoughts? Sometimes I wonder, like, I'll stop and I'll be like to myself, okay, what is your point here? Sometimes your mind sounds like a stressed out friend and you're just like, what the hell is the matter with you? Relax. Yes, it's tough right now, but we're not dead right now. Feel that air going into your lungs? We're just chilling right now, or we're just driving right now, or I'm just picking bananas out at Walmart. It's okay. Jack Cornfield, he says, thank you, brain, for trying to keep me safe, but I'm okay right now. You can go relax. Calm down. God. I love my brain. It's pretty decent. It works pretty well. It solves the logical problems of life, interacts with this 3D interface we call the world. It does a really great job at that. But it tries to do too much sometimes. It tries to worry. I think it was Jesus on the Sermon on the Mount. He said, take no thought for tomorrow. And what do? We nod our heads. Oh, yeah, that's great advice. Okay, back to thinking. But we don't ever stop, do we? And focus in on that sentence. Take no thought for tomorrow. Stop. Yeah, great advice. Okay, back to thinking. I think part of the reason is the stimuli. I'm trying to promote this podcast on social media. Holy smokes. That's like a black hole. It sucks me right in. I mentioned before about this. Like, I got to stop myself half the time. Like, you go on X and it's like 1,000 times worse. That's why I've been trying to promote the podcast more through Threads, and I'm trying to curate the algorithm so it's not as button pushy, trying to stimulate some rage. What do they call it? Rage bait. I think my brother was telling me about that on the episode I did with him. Like, why are people going online trying to induce rage? What is the matter with you? Life is short enough and hard enough already, and you're going online, to, I guess, drag people down with you to get a following. I'm gonna read you a quote that just came to mind. Okay, I found it. This is impromptu. I didn't plan on reading this in the episode, but there's a line that says, "First they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me." See, people are standing up before it gets worse. Oh, and it's frustrating enough just trying to survive. And you hear about all this, and it's like, oh, you just got to let it out sometimes. Oh! You ever do that in your car? You just grab your steering wheel, windows are up, and you just let out a, My wife's in the other room probably wondering, like, what the hell is going on? What kind of episode is he doing in there? I don't know. This is new. If you like this format, say something, damn it. I'm just joking. I love you guys. But yeah, sometimes you just got to walk it off, You got to stand up and do the right thing. And like this week, I'm probably sitting at just about 52 hours, 53 hours, which is not bad, But I'm going to be honest, like there's parts of my week where my body is just screaming at me, like, stay home. You need free time. Play with my son. Took my kids to the movies last week. I plan on doing mini golf with them next week, or just hang out with the wife, play some video games. You got to be silly. You got to have time to be silly. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. You just got to have time. You got to carve out those moments. And I carve out those moments while I'm working too. Like when I get in the car, I'm just having fun. I'm pretending like I'm on a mission or something. There's an old video game I used to play called Death Stranding, and the whole game was just delivering stuff to people in this post-apocalypse, demon-filled world. Yeah, it's really weird, the description of it. Hideo Kojima, the guy who did Metal Gear, created it. And it's like you're just delivering parcels and packages to people, and I kind of pretend I make my job as fun as possible. Listen to music when I'm in the mood, a lot of podcasts. You got to make it fun. Life is short. You got to have fun with it. And my car's a stick shift too, so I feel cool driving it, I grew up watching movies like Back to the Future where Marty's driving the DeLorean, the terrorists are chasing him, he's shifting gears. Gotta have fun, man. Life's too short. Too short. Don't fill your day with all the news all the time too. Take a moment or something during the day or once or twice during the week and catch yourself up on world events, because you're part of this world. You can't be separate from it. I'll be honest with you guys. One of my pet peeves is when you have either friends or family in your life and they're like, I'm too good for politics. The worst is when they straight up ignore you, even when you're not trying to rile anyone up and you're talking in good faith about it, but just straight up ignore you about it. Like, no. I've learned not to bring it up that much, but damn it, it's like sometimes you just feel so much about it. You got to say so. You got to talk to each other about it, you know? Everyone's like in their own little box, in their own little lanes. Don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat. No, let's talk about something else. You see the game? It's like, yeah, I love the game. You know, the games are fun. Football, yeah, that's cool. But we got to talk about it sometimes, right? That's why we have therapists these days, because you just can't talk about some things with people. You feel like you can't be open about it. And look at me. I don't have that gene that makes me afraid or embarrassed to talk about things, you know? And I've had to learn to curtail that, because I'd overstep my boundaries sometimes as a kid, you know, and I still do sometimes as an adult, but here I am on a podcast. Hey, everybody, I'm broke as hell. I work 50 plus hours a week. Come listen to my podcast. Who do you know that would ever do that? They say the greatest fear over death is actually public speaking. Here I am in front of a microphone. Come on, death. You got nothing on me. I'm not afraid to die. Not in the slightest. It's natural. Now, I have a healthy fear of death. I'm not going to walk in front of a semi. I'm not going to, I'm scared of heights. I have a healthy fear of death. Like I don't want to waste this wonderful carnation that I've found myself in. Although that hasn't stopped me from eating donuts, pizza, and ice cream to ridiculous amounts, but I don't fear the day I die. I fear what would happen to other people if my death impacted them, you know, and things like that. But death is not something to fear. Death is a companion. It's a reminder. This podcast wouldn't have started if death wasn't there. Well, I'll just start it next year. I got infinite years. I'll just start it next year. Oh, nope. I turned 42. I'm going to die soon. Not soon, but 42, halfway to 84. Time's ticking. Hit the record button. Gosh. If you guys know somebody who wants to be on the podcast, including yourself, I think you need to reach out to me. I love these solo episodes, but I also love talking to people. So you guys need to reach out to me. You need to click the 5 stars on whatever app you're listening. You need to leave me a nice review that'll stroke my ego and make me feel good and bump the podcast in the algorithm. We need to band together, our little standing nowhere family here. We need to band together. We need to all get on Discord. We need to organize. We need to be militant about this and get this podcast on the top 10 charts, okay? We're going to take down Mr. Beast on YouTube. We're going to take down Joe Rogan. We're going to be the #1 podcast. We're going to have everyone reflect on what it means to be human and connect with our spiritual side again. Damn it. That's why I started this podcast, because I'm frustrated with how materialistic people are. It is actually a pet peeve of mine when people think that life doesn't exist outside of the current vocabulary that our society has given them. Like, there's your hand, right? There's the word hand, and then there's your hand. If you're able to, look at your hand with me right now. I'm looking at my hand. There's some hair on it. There's like a scar or a scratch that's still healing. There's little lines in my palm. Now open your hand and close your hand and focus on that. Just that. There's no language that can contain that. We can point to it. But all the experiences in your life, those are beyond words. If you're able to, think of someone you love deeply in this world. Deeply love. Oh, you love this person. Think of them. Think of their face. Think of their smile. Focus on the feeling that you get inside when you think of this person. The sound of their voice, the feel of their touch. That's mysticism, my friend. That's what this podcast is about. The experience of life. Now, when you add on to that, well, the love I feel is just a survival mechanism, you see. And that's really all it is. There's not much more beyond this life, really. Life sucks, then you die. That's why I started this podcast. We got to connect with our spiritual side again. There's more to it than that. And you don't have to theorize about it or take my word for it. You can feel it. You can experience it. It is really something you should try. I am not one of those people who wanted to be an endorser of meditation or mindfulness. I don't want to be the guy saying you should meditate or you should be more present. I want you to experience it for yourself. It's worth it. In fact, it's the only thing that there is to do, is to be there for your life, to stop and smell the roses, smell them, inhale that aroma, that fragrance of life. Let it flow into your nostrils and tickle your smell sensors to trigger whatever it is you're going to feel. Take it in. Maybe you're bored. Maybe this week is just a big week. What does that feel like? Go into that experience. Cut the chatter in your mind and experience it. What does Tuesday feel like? Holy shit, it's only Wednesday. What does that feel like? Maybe your boss is just a prick. Just a prick. What does that feel like? Give that some space. Have you ever had a prick boss? I have. My God, I've had some terrible humans, which I did not have compassion for. I did not have compassion for at the time. You know, these are people who, one story, let me tell you about this story. Long time ago. This is back in 2017. We had just moved into a new rental house, okay? I had saved for a year for the down payment on the rental house to pay somebody else's mortgage, the deposit of which I never got back. Won't sidetrack there. We just get into this house. I want to say somewhere within 3 to 6 months, I get suspended from work for 3 days with no pay. Why? Because I was in a call center where we took calls and we sold show tickets at a casino in Las Vegas. I sold room reservations, show tickets, dinner reservations, etc. I was booking this person's show. I won't say what the name of the casino or what show it was, but when you work at a call center, they have like a checklist, right? And they wanted me to say, can I confirm that for you? Like, ask for the sale, quote unquote. And they said I didn't ask for the sale on this call, so they suspended me for 3 days with no pay. Now, keep in mind, on this phone call, I was talking to this guy, describing the seat location. I have a strategy. I've been in sales for a long time. I know what I'm doing. Can I have autonomy, please? Thank you. So I tell this guy, these are the seats, these are the location, this is the price. The guy says, just in the mid sentence, he says, hold on 1 second. And he puts his phone down and I hear him talk in the background and he picks the phone back up and he's like, oh, something came up. I got to go by. And he hangs up the phone. No chance for me to ask for the sale. They suspended me. Didn't ask for the sale. I fought back. I said, hey, I didn't have a chance. This guy hung up. This is an exception. They said, no, you could have asked for the sale earlier in the call. I said, it wasn't the right time. You don't ask someone if they're going to buy something before you know you got them on the hook and they want to buy it. They said, no, you could have asked for the, just blank, non-human response, right? These are people who sit in the quality assurance department and they listen to phone calls all day and they micromanage this checklist like a conveyor belt comes through. They said no. So I pushed it to a supervisor. My supervisor said, yeah, there's something here, but I'm your supervisor, so I can't approve it, so I got to go to another supervisor. So he sends it to another supervisor, and that supervisor fought me on it. Said, no, you could have asked for it earlier in the call. I said, what the I was livid. 3-day suspension. Now, the 3-day suspension wasn't the worst part. The worst part was if I did this again, they would fire me. So I'm 3 days no pay, worried in my brain when I come back, if I make one more mistake for 12 months, because 12 months is how long it stays on your record and falls off, I would lose my job. So I pushed it above her head to the manager of the whole department. She agreed with me. What? I got to go through all this pain and suffering, 3 days of which I didn't get paid for or compensated for retroactively when they sided with me. You know what the manager's exact words were? I'm sorry. This was shitty. Verbatim. That's exactly what she said. This was shitty. You shouldn't have had to go through this. My God. My God. And eventually, I did lose my job at this place. That's another story. That's how I got into gig work, though, because I had nowhere else to turn to. I needed money. My brother was doing Uber, I think, and he's like, hey, check, I'm making decent money. And I thought, okay, maybe I can fill the gap until I find another job. And here I am 8 years later, I'm still doing gig work. Oh. There's a little story about me. I wish I could tell you the name of the place, but maybe in a private message or something. But that's kind of where my head's at. I just wanted to get a few things off my chest. I am sick and tired of being financially stressed, and I've got things, I think, pretty well organized, and I'm just doing a last push to get this rent covered. And I think in 2 days, by the time you guys hear this episode, I'll be on my new quote-unquote organized schedule, and we'll see how that goes. I'm trying to give myself at least a half day off every week and potentially a day and a half off every week. That's my goal. Because if I have to work 52, 55 hours, I'm trying to squeeze that into like 4 to 5 days, maybe 6 days, so that way I can have more time off. Anyways, that's what's going on. I'll keep you guys posted on if I get a new job too, so you can root me on for that. Because I need some love. I'm in my car all day. I don't get much social interaction, so please reach out to me. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave me a comment. Leave me a little story about your life and a thumbs up and a share and a like and a subscribe and all the good things. Come on. If you're in a podcast app, take a moment. Review it. All these other podcasters are so good with their calls to action. I will wrap up. It has been fun. Reach out to me, guys. Please hop on our Discord. Links are in the description. Send me a message about how your week is going. I want to read feedback from you out there. Even if I know you or don't know you, leave me some feedback about what's going on in your life. I'll keep you anonymous if you want. I'll read your story out so that people can leave their comments for you. I can read those out on the air. I want to start connecting. This platform I've created, I want other people to take advantage of. I've got plenty of solo episodes talking about my life. So tell me about your life. And I'll let you know how things go for me as well. I'll keep you updated, but things are going to get better. I guess that's what I wanted to get off my chest is, I've been meditating for 3+ years and my mind still keeps telling me that things won't get better and that everyone else is smarter than me and doing something correct and I don't have it in me. And yet at the same time, I recognize those thoughts and I just let them float away like little balloons into the sky or clouds passing. I am the sky. My thoughts are sometimes good, mostly terrible. And meditation just helps you realize who you really are behind it all. So if you're really stressed out, just try sitting on a cushion or a comfortable chair in the morning for 5 to 10 minutes. Just follow your breath. See where it takes you. And when a thought comes up and takes you away, when you remember, just come back and be glad that you remembered to come back. Don't get mad at yourself. Damn thought. That one really took me for a ride. Don't do that. Instead say, I remembered, I'm back. And focus on what it feels like to come back. I was lost in thought, but now I'm back. I was lost, but now am found. Okay. Thank you for tuning in this week, guys. This has been Standing Nowhere Podcast. Jacob Buehler, your host. Always a pleasure to be back. And I will see you next week.